Assalamu alaikum. Do you speak English or do you want to speak English? Then which one do you follow? The American English or the British English? You don't know the differences? In this video, I will teach you one of those differences between the American and the British English. كتحدث أو باغي تتعلم اللغة الإنجليزية، لكن اش من لغة باغي تتعلم؟ واش الإنجليزية ديال الولايات المتحدة أو الإنجليزية ديال المملكة المتحدة؟ ما كتعرف شنو هو الفرق؟ في هذا الفيديو غادي نتعلموا الفرق الأول ما بين الإنجليزية ديال United States ديال الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية والإنجليزية ديال المملكة المتحدة United Kingdom. لكن قبل ما نبداو ما تنساوش تضغطوا على زر الاشتراك وتفعلوا الجرس باش يوصلكم اي فيديو جديد حطينا في هذه القناه. So, what is the difference between American English and British English? So, American English is the English language as it is spoken and written in the USA. American English هي اللغة الإنجليزية اللي كتستعمل في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. And this is the map of United States of America. British English is the English as it is spoken and written in the United Kingdom. And this is the map of United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is composed of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. British English هي اللغة الإنجليزية اللي كتستعمل في المملكة المتحدة، والمملكة المتحدة كتكون من 4 ديال الدول: الإنجليز، اسكتلندا، ويلز، وشمال إيرلندا. Regular verb. We consider a verb regular when both its simple past tense and its past participle are formed by adding the inflectional ending ed or d or ied. كنعتبروا ان الفعل في اللغه الانجليزيه regular من كيخضع لواحد القاعده اللي كتسمى inflection اللي كتسمى باللغه العربيه التصريف. يعني ملي كنبغي نحولوا الفعل الى الماضي كنزيدوا له ed ولا d ولا ied. For example, let's study these 3 words: talk, solve, and spy. So with the verb talk, we add ed. So talk, talked, talked. With the verb solve, we added only d. So solve, solved, solved. Whereas with the verb spy, we dropped the y and added ied. Spy, spied, spied. فمثلا هاد الأفعال اللي عندنا هنايا talk و solve و spy، مع الفعل talk ملي حولناه للباسي أو الماضي زدنا فقط ed، لكن مع فعل solve زدنا فقط d، ومع فعل spy حيدنا حرف y وزدنا ied. So one might ask this question: when do we add ed or d or ied? I will cover this topic inshallah in another video. السؤال هو فوقاش كنزيدو ed ولا d ولا ied؟ غادي نغطي هاد القاعدة في فيديو آخر إن شاء الله. Irregular verb is a verb that doesn't follow the normal pattern of inflection. بمعنى أنه ما كيخضعش لقاعدة التصريف أو inflection، ما عنده حتى شي قاعدة. That's why it is called irregular verb. For example, here we have 3 irregular verbs: go, cut, eat. As you can see here, each verb here is conjugated differently. So with go, we have went, gone. Cut, cut, cut. Eat, ate, eaten. كما كتلاحظوا معي مع هاد الأفعال اللي هما irregular, go, cut and eat، كل فعل من بين هاد الأفعال عنده طريقة خاصة في التصريف، يعني حتى فعل ما كيشبه الآخر.
Programs. I don't want to accidentally design the program that I talked about with company A for company B, because that's not great customer
time. So we went to the city to legalize and enhance the practice. And then we got incentivized.
So here we come to another important point, namely the difference between American English and British English in terms of regular and irregular verbs. Generally, there are 100 also irregular verbs in the English language. So let's study these two tables. So on our left we have American English, and on our right we have British English. So let's start with American English. So we have 8 verbs: burn, dream, lean, learn, smell, spell, spill, and spoil. So all these verbs are considered regular verbs in American English. Why? Because they follow what is called inflection. So على اليسار ديالنا عندنا American English وعلى اليمين ديالنا عندنا British English. With the American English عندنا 8 ديال الأفعال. هاد الأفعال كيتعتبروا regular verbs. So the same verbs are considered irregular in the British English. For example, the verb burn, in the simple past it is burnt. In the past participle, burnt. So let's take another example. The last word, spoil, spoiled, spoiled in American English, whereas in the British English, spoil, spoiled, spoiled. For example, an American person will say the flowers smelled nice, whereas a British person will say the flowers smelled nice. Another example, American will say, I hope you have learned from your mistake. A British will say, I hope you have learned from your mistake.
3 years old and had one day put his hand on a very hot electric griddle. He burned his hand very, very badly. We had to go to the hospital and his hand was bandaged.
Natural gas is less harmful than coal when burned. But nonetheless, the negative effects of fracking on the climate balance are overall greater.
دابا غادي نشوفوا العكس. يعني regular verbs in the British English that are considered irregular verbs in the American English. So let's have a look at these two tables. In the British English, we have dive, wet, and quit as regular verbs. For example, we have dive, dived, dived. Whereas the same verbs are considered irregular verbs in American English. So dive, dove, dived. Wet, wet, wet. Quit, quit, quit. For example, in the British English, she wetted her hair in the rain. In American English, she wet her hair in the rain. Another example, in the British English, the lifeguard dived into the pool to save the little boy. Whereas in American English, the lifeguard dove into the pool to save the little boy.
Duck replied, "What kind of a bird are you if you can't swim?" and dived into the pond.
At about this time period, and then you dove into the pool of research like hardcore.
Yeah.
Did you then
So that's all for today. ما تنساوش تضغطوا على زر الاشتراك وتفعلوا الجرس وتديروا لايك إذا عجبكم الفيديو. See you in the next video إن شاء الله.